MasterCard Memorial Cup, and much, much more. Visit snetnow.ca for more details.
Thank you for calling the 2017 MasterCard Memorial Cup champion Windsor Spitfires. If you know your party's extension, you may enter it now.
Hey, Mikey, it's Merrick. Can you hear me?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm here with Elliot. How you doing, pal?
Good.
All right, thanks for doing this. We'll come down here in a couple seconds.
No problem.
Or stay on the line for further instructions.
Elliot, want to welcome Michael DiPietro to the program of the Windsor Spitfires, prospect for the Vancouver Canucks, and on his way to the World Championships from Team Canada. And the one thing that we do know about goaltenders, Elliot, is they are very sensitive. You know, there'll be many times in the dressing room that the coach will blast everybody except the goaltender because they have such fragile egos. They're very gentle people. The nerves are very close to their skin, so they don't handle criticism very well. So I want to begin the interview with 3 statements that we'll get Michael to react to. First of all, Michael, thanks so much for joining us today. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great. Honored to be on the show, and I'm interested to hear these questions.
Okay. This doesn't count as one of the statements, the welcome.
It's going to be 3 statements that I know goaltenders, they're weird birds. You know, they're different creatures, so we have to be very sensitive about how we talk to them. So 3 statements that I want you to react to, Michael. Statement number 1, you don't have the right size to play nets.
Address that at the combine. I think, you want to win. And I think you shouldn't really judge a goaltender on their size. I think if you can stop the puck, you deserve a chance. And, I've been doing a pretty good job so far of it, using my size. And look at Jonathan Quick in the NHL. So I think size, unfortunately, is prominent in the NHL right now, but I don't think it's a necessity.
The only reason you won the Memorial Cup is because you played behind a traveling all-star team with the Windsor Spitfires.
Oh, my God. Why don't you just hit him with a stick? What
Hold
kind
on.
of a question is that?
All I have to say to that is obviously we had a great team in front of me. Fortunately, we lost in the first round, so we have to work to earn everything we were kind of given in the tournament, and we set ourselves up nicely. But, I think the last game we were outshot. Maybe in the St. John game we were outshot too. So I know we had a lot of scoring firepower, but I think it took a full team effort. And I'm never one to really toot my own horn at all, so it's definitely a team effort for the win. But, I liked my game in the tournament, and I think it contributed to the team's success.
OHL's had a hard time making elite-level goaltenders. Why are you different?
I guess why start now? I think John Gibson is a pretty good example of what the OHL produces. And I think he's a pretty good goaltender in the NHL, and I think he's doing a really good job, obviously. He's doing something right. So I guess I don't think you should put that stigma on a goaltender from the Ontario Hockey League. I think there's a lot of skill to be passed around. And in the CHL, I think we produce a lot of great talent, especially in the goaltending position.
Did that feel like a combine interview to you, Michael?
Close to it, brought back some old memories, but, it was good. I don't mind those questions.
I got to tell you, when you hang up the phone and you get asked by your teammates, what this interview was like, just tell them that Jeff was the guy who was being an idiot, okay?
I will. We all like your plaid suits on Sportsnet, so it's all good, Elliot. I'm your friend.
The combine story is a wonderful one, and I remember talking to you afterwards, and you wouldn't say who the team was, and I'm guessing you probably won't, say who the team was anymore, or again. But that addressed, the size issue and challenging you on, you can't do it. Here's another roadblock. How much do you think at your combine, the interviews, how much do you think was A, the team's being sincere about the questions versus B, testing just to see what answer you'll give?
I think for the A, I guess they have to ask the question. I really was expecting kind of the questions they were asking. I think the first one, majority of the interviews were, asking me about my size and do I think I can play. But I guess the thing that really upset me was the one interview that basically told me that I had no shot. And I guess, it kind of motivated me for coming into this season and try to prove people wrong. I guess I've always been trying to prove people wrong. And I guess I approach things with a chip on my shoulder because of it.
What are the chances you tell us which team said that to you?
0% chance. I definitely don't want to burn any bridges. in the hockey world, so small. So very honored of the teams I met with in the Combine. To even be a part of the Combine is just a great story to tell, and it's just a journey and a story that a hockey player can tell for years to come. So no bad animosity towards them at all. I understand what they were looking for in a goaltender, and I didn't fit that criteria. That's okay, and we're going to win a Stanley Cup when I get to the NHL one day, whatever team I'm with.
That's good. Now, I always like to ask guys, when they're drafted, did they have a clue that team was interested? So, Vancouver, did you expect that they would be a team that would take you?
I guess leading up to the Combine, they expressed some interest, and I knew there was an opportunity, like a chance to go there. I just didn't know when. Also, the draft is just a crazy thing, right? So just when you think you can go right here and fit into this team, you don't hear your name called, and it's definitely a roller coaster of emotions. I knew it was for myself and my family, but when Vancouver calls your name and they look up at you in the stands trying to spot you out, there's no better feeling.
Was there someone else you thought was going to be the team?
There was a few. I think I'm definitely not going to use the names, but I think there were a few spots I think I could have went, to a specific team maybe earlier. But like I said, I understand that not all teams are looking for goalies at certain spots in the draft at certain rounds. And, like I said, I'm very honored to be a part of the Vancouver organization. They'll give me a chance to play, and so you don't get buried. And obviously they have great goalie coaches and great staff that you can really bounce information off of, and that supports you along the way for the process.
How much fun was it calling Gabe Vilardi when he got picked? We got you to do the commentary from the stands. I'm not going to try to wrap up your career before it's actually begun at the pro level, but there's probably a job as an analyst waiting for you in this industry based on a number of different things. But tell us about that experience at the draft, talking about your teammate Gabe Vilardi.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool experience. My family and I were going the first round regardless, and Gabe and I were really close. And we knew he was going relatively early. Actually, I'm surprised he slid that far, but when I got an opportunity to chirp Gabe on national television about how bad he was at Chell, I think it made the whole night worth it, sitting down for whatever 2.5, 3 hours it was, just so the world knows. Yeah, Gabe's a pretty good hockey player on the ice, but behind the PS4, he's not too good.
I was going to say, explain to listeners what Chell is and what that is slang for.
Yeah, it's NHL 17 or 18, whatever year you're playing on PS4 or Xbox, and we would have tournaments. The guys on the team, we'd go over to his billet house there and start playing, and things would get heated. Controllers were broken, thrown across the room. So Gabe definitely doesn't like to lose, but there's nothing better than get under Lardo's skin.
Just if you decide to become an analyst, I've got about 8 years left, so I would really prefer if you waited till I was done.
Hopefully my hockey career lasts more than 8 years, Elliot.
That's
before I get analyst job.
Now, Michael, you had a tough thing at the World Juniors this year. Everybody I spoke to said you handled it unbelievably well. And, I know that's not easy. And just what was the best advice you got after that was all done?
I think the best advice I got was from my dad. When you first get the news that you're getting cut, it kind of caught me off guard. I thought, I obviously had a good last day at camp, and I thought Colton and I were pretty even throughout the camp, and it was kind of a toss-up. But I definitely knew I could have played better, but I think the nerves got the best of me during that camp. It was kind of awestruck, too. Mm-hmm. But, when I got cut and I went home, to be honest, I was really frustrated because, you work so hard, you put all yourself into it, and you have no guarantee, you're going to make the team or anything. So my dad basically said, you and I are going to watch the tournament, and, you're going to learn from it, and it's out of your hands. Just look at the positives. I get to spend Christmas with my family for, this year, and, my brother was down from Kansas City, so there's a positive there. Mm-hmm. But hopefully coming into next year, I have another opportunity to play for Canada at the World Juniors this year. And I think with that experience and a little adversity, I think it made me a better hockey player and, most importantly, a better person.
When you go through something, and I remember
that's mature as fuck for like a 18-year-old.
When you go through something that feels like a disappointment, it feels like the end of the world. And then you reach a point where you say to yourself, it's not. And then something like this comes along where it makes you say, you know what, that wasn't so bad. How do you get from point A to point B?
I think with the process, I think it's funny how how the hockey world kind of comes full circle, and one door closes and you go back to the grind of junior hockey, and then another door opens, and I think you really can't really think about
No, I love everything bagels. My life to give.
Opportunities that come along with not making a team, and kind of opening up the other avenues, because like you said, it feels like your world's crashing down, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but there is. So I think for myself, working with my goalie coaches, trying to have a good, strong second half of the year with a really young Windsor group here really helped me, mentally be a better mentally tough goaltender on the ice. And then obviously it helped with my abilities, working with my goalie coach, give me that time off during Christmas time, and hopefully get ready for what it is, a good tournament in the world.
I think it's a valuable
Easy one
lesson
shot.
too, Jeff and Mike.
That's the shit I'm talking about.
And we have the advantage. Jeff and I have
Now just give me this one shot, and then we'll fly him.
And that is that the right people are always watching.
Easy one shot. Nope.
Particularly when things don't go right for you, they're always watching to see how you handle it. And I would guess that all that great advice you got from your dad, the work you did with your goalie coaches, the way you played, that put you on the path to here. And I wonder if that's the advice you're going to give to other people now, from now on. The right people are always watching, and how you handle yourself is always being graded.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great point. A lot of things, people talk about body language and the way you portray yourself when you face adversity, and I think that's really where you find a person's true character, is when things aren't really going their way and things are tough. I think that's really how you find who the person really is.
We all have bad days, Michael. Although I don't, and all the time that I've known you, spoken to you, watched you play, I mean, certainly you get frustrated, big losses, and you mentioned getting cut at the World Juniors this year. That's a big one. But I can remember specifically last year, first day Memorial Cup, we watched Seattle. I think it was Seattle. We watched practice first, and then you guys. And you let a goal in. Colby Armstrong chirped you from the stands. And then afterwards, every save you made, you looked over at him.
That's great.
With this big smile on your face. And, you have this wonderful personality, a big personality, and you always seem to be smiling. What are your bad days like? Like, how many bad days do you actually have?
I wouldn't say a bad day. There's definitely tough times throughout the day, and early morning practices, you get hit in the head. I'm really not a happy camper. Ask any of my teammates that, or they usually keep the pucks low. So especially early morning practices or warm-up drills, because when I do get angry on the ice, maybe a few hacks and whacks in the back of their legs, just let them know I'm there, and I really don't appreciate it. So to be totally honest, I think I really don't have too many bad days, which I'm grateful for, but definitely get mad sometimes.
Have you ever Billy Smith the guy?
Is that a dated reference for you?
Yeah, that might be.
That is a dated reference.
Billy Smith, Kelly Rudy will tell the stories about Billy Smith, who's a Hall of Fame goaltender. If somebody shot his head at practice, you knew the stick was coming.
God damn it.
I think it refers to back in minor hockey. I tried actually. I smacked my stick on.
I shouldn't do it on this version. This version is more difficult.
And
hit my wife.
Actually, it broke a bit, didn't snap in half, and my dad pulled me to the side. I think I was in Pee Wee Major, and he took my stick and snapped it over his knee. He said, "You try to break your stick one more time, you'll be playing without a stick." So I think me holding on to my stick during practice has definitely been ingrained in my mind ever since. So I wouldn't say I throw my stick at any teammates, but I have shot a puck at a couple.
That's pretty good. Now, tell me a bit more about your dad. Like, I like this guy.
Vic's great.
So
Great guy.
First of all, we've already found out that he gave you great advice when you needed it. And B, he can break something over his knee like Bo Jackson can. So tell me a little bit about your dad.
My dad grew up in Windsor. My grandparents immigrated from Italy, and he's the youngest of three brothers. He's a blue-collar guy. He works at the hydro company in Windsor. He was an ex-football player. He got an invite to go to the Ottawa Rough Riders camp when he was my age to try out for their team in the CFL. But unfortunately, his last game, his knees got blown out from under him. So ever since, he's been my best friend since I was born. And my mom passed away when I was younger.
Yep.
So before he met my stepmom and my stepbrother, it was just him and I. And him and I have been super close. He's my best friend, like I said, and to my eyes, he's the greatest dad. So Yeah, definitely thankful for everything he's done for
I
me.
hate.
And
Why does that
made me who I am
happen?
today.
You know, that's an awesome story. That's a really fantastic story. And you mentioned your new family, and I know Jeff has a story he wants to ask you about. But the one story I wanted to ask you about is I understand that no matter where she's sitting in the crowd, you can always hear your stepmother.
Yes, I can hear her for sure. I know at home she's always to my right. Her and my dad sit together in the right corner in the WFCU center here. But it's funny that my parents, actually my dad will tape the game for my mom because at times she'll be covering her eyes for extended probably 5, 6, 7 minutes of the game, but she'll still be screaming.